What's up, guys? We're here to talk about Joker. Oh my God, such a great movie. We're gonna talk about some stuff with no spoilers in the beginning, and then we're gonna talk about some stuff with spoilers. I'm gonna go into some movie specifics. But right now, let's hop into this Joker movie review / reaction video. Boom! Okay, so it kind of starts a little shaky to me. There's some things that happen that feel kind of corny at first, and I'm just like, man, I don't know. And I was so hyped for this movie. So I was trying to be like, let me just calm down my expectations, like let me just chill. But it was hard because like there were some moments that felt kind of corny in the very beginning, and I was like, I don't know. So don't let that turn you away from the film, because I promise you, as it goes on, minute by minute, it gets more and more intense, and there's more and more things happening. Again, this is the no spoilers version. So there's a lot of things that start to happen that kind of make it better. That's all I'm gonna say. Another point that I can kind of touch on a little bit, surface level stuff, so there's no spoilers, is Joaquin Phoenix versus Heath Ledger as the Joker. Just maybe trying to compare even loosely, because they did play the same character. I know you can never really truly compare completely, but just kind of looking at them. Of course, the movies are different. The Joker movie is the new one that just came out, is more specifically focused on him as a developing into who he is, versus The Dark Knight, which is the Joker is already established in that movie. So you can't really make an exact comparison, but I will say this movie, I can't tell if it's the plot or the acting. I think it takes both to really make this happen, but I feel like Joaquin does a really good job of really bringing out the character and really looking into the depths of his life. And you really feel like you're connecting with the Joker, with Joaquin. Where The Dark Knight, there was some moments of that, but they were just kind of like fleeting moments, and they didn't really stay long enough for me to really... Obviously, it was good. I'm never going to say it was bad, ever. But it was just, there's good, and then there's better. And I never knew that there was a better. But I do have to agree with some of the people online. I kind of feel like Joaquin really gave this character what it needed. Once you watch some of his interviews with like Jimmy Kimmel and Ellen DeGeneres and some of these other people, once you see how he is as a human being, it will start to really connect with why he's kind of different and unique as a human being, as a person. And then him going into that role of the Joker, it makes perfect sense. And some of that comes out in the movie too, without revealing too much. Let me know in the comments who you think is the better portrayal of the Joker. Lastly, is this movie worth your money? Absolutely yes. This is worth your money. There's lots of movies that come out and I get super hyped, they get overhyped, and I go see them and I'm like, bruh, this movie's whack. This is actually not one of those. Like I said, there were some early moments that made me worry, but those went away and I completely got sucked into the film, trying to hang on every single second, every single minute, and pay attention to what's gonna happen next. It does keep you guessing, so definitely worth the money. This could be the movie of the year. There's a lot of titles getting ready to come out at the end of the year, but for the sake of this, I think that it is a contender for sure, and definitely worth your money to go see. This concludes the spoiler-free version. So at this point, if you have not seen the Joker movie, turn this off. Stop it. Stop. Skirt. Don't play nothing else after this mark right here, because we're going to get into some movie specific stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie, turn it off. I don't know how to be more attention grabbing. Okay, so the first thing I got to talk about is his laugh. So he's got this disorder, obviously, that's part of the movie. He laughs uncontrollably. He can't help it. Some of the laughs he sells really well, as far as the character having no control over his laugh and you kind of feel that, and it feels authentic. Other times it feels very forced and very fake, and it was hard to get on board with. But overall, I have to say he killed it. Towards the end of the movie, it built and built and built, and by the end of the movie, I didn't pay attention to it anymore. In fact, at the very end, I was waiting for the laugh. I wanted the laugh to come, and he delivered. He gets jumped in the beginning of the movie. So he gets jumped by a group of people. They appear to be either Latino or something like that. Definitely not just, you know, Caucasian. They're some other race. They jump him in the beginning. That kind of feels kind of fake. Like it feels not real. Like it doesn't feel sincere. So I don't know. That scene kind of rubbed me the wrong way. He looks super sick and malnourished during the movie. And that's on purpose, obviously, because you learn about how he was taken care of and raised and all that. And he was abused and all that. So they did a really good job with that. He had to lose a lot of weight for this role, and he just looks really sick and, you know, really bird cagey. Like looks like, what happened to that boy? So, you know, it's really, really skinny, kind of anorexic looking. It looks really sickly. So I like how they did that to try to really sell the role of who he was and what happened to him, and that was done really well. One of the things that's really interesting to me is how many black people are in the film, or just people of different races are in the film, because I'm not sure that I remember of that being a specific thing in any of the other Marvel or DC movies. It just seems to really stick out in this one. And the reason why that's important is because the whole introduction of the character and the unpacking of him as somebody who's unaccepted by society. He ends up not being accepted by the black people, the white people, any other race. He's not accepted by anyone. And he's in Gotham, which is basically a mimicked version of New York City. DC people do not fight me. Basically, it feels like New York City. So he's around all these people of different races and color and creed, and they don't like him either. So it's like he's not liked by anyone, and he's trying to interact with these people. He's trying to come around these people, and that just kind of hit me in a deep way because I'm biracial. I find, just in general, black people are way more accepting of me and who I am in terms of any other race, creed, and color. And that's just me. That's just my personal experience that I experienced in life. So watching the movie, watching him be kind of an outcast in general, but then he's an outcast by everyone. He can't even fit in with clowns, bruh. He can't fit in with clowns. He's literally at a job where he gets paid to be a clown and sell businesses, and he doesn't fit in there. He's weird. He's an outcast in the clown place. I'm not sure that was something that people caught on to, but that was a really powerful moment for me to really sell me on Joker and really sell me on his upbringing and who he was as a individual villain, whatever you want to use right there. There's a lot of shots at the mental health system in this movie. He makes a lot of very direct phrases towards the mental health professionals in the movie, about mental health, about all these different things, and blatant, like not read into it metaphorically, like straight up direct messages. We all know there's a lot of problems with our mental health system. A lot of people are trying to fix it in different parts of different states and all over the country, and there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. Making a bold statement with this movie, I gotta say, and I like it. So just be prepared for that. If you've already seen it, then you know what I'm talking about, but that was interesting to see. So there's another pivotal scene in the movie that I gotta talk about. So it's his first killings. He gets the gun, he's on the train, he kills the 3 people. The way that he kills those 3 people, he's laughing uncontrollably, of course. The people make fun of him, they come at him first. He kills them, then the guy runs away, chases him, kills him, goes into the bathroom and breaks into a dance after he hyperventilates. That scene, if that doesn't perfectly encapture a psychopath killer being born, I don't know what does. Okay, just completely breaks out into dance after murdering 3 people. That's crazy, and it just really shook me and really helped me see through the lens of Joker's eyes. It was a very powerful moment, and it's a moment that I had to bring up on this reaction video. So there was one genius moment that I have to talk about. It's towards the end. It's when he's with his mother, who he finds out is not really his mother. He was adopted. So anyway, he's sitting there with her in the bed. She's sick, she's getting ready to die, or she just is struggling. And he says to her, I thought my life was a tragedy, but it turns out it's a comedy. And then he suffocates her to death. That moment was genius. That is another moment that just really encapsulated the Joker for me and really helped me believe Joaquin was the Joker. And this was really happening in real. It was crazy. It was crazy, but it was like, that's Joker's crazy, so it fits perfectly into that role. Obviously, it's kind of disturbing because he's a psychopath killer at this point, kind of becoming that, really embracing that role. But think about that for a second. I thought my life was a tragedy, but it's a comedy. And if you hear a lot of stories from the comedians that are famous, a lot of them talk about stories of growing up really hard and stuff like that. And obviously they make light of their story, like they try to be funny, and they are funny, but it's a direct result of some traumas and stuff that they lived through when they were younger, up and coming, that kind of thing. So they literally are funny because of trauma that they've went through in their life, a la Joaquin as the Joker. So that statement, that little quote right there was like, whoa, kind of a weird, eerie moment, but still a lot of truth in it. And that's kind of the underlying theme in the movie, is like, there's this stuff that on the front end, a lot of people, a lot of reactions, a lot of magazines, a lot of newspapers, so on and so forth, react like this is evil or this is not good to show. But underneath that, there's some truth there. There's some underlying truths, and that's why I think a lot of society is giving some pushback towards the film right now, because people are feeling some type of way, seeing this stuff on camera. They don't really know how to process it or how to react to it. So one of the things that's kind of funny, and this is like a personal experience, is like, how much of the movie is real or not real? So some of it's related to the movie, some of it's related to actually what happened in the theater, like for real at real time. So let me explain. As the movie's going on, there's apparently a scene that I missed somehow, because I saw it with somebody. So she was telling me that this is what happened. So apparently the whole dating part was fake. That didn't really happen. So then it kind of makes you question at the end how much of the movie was real, like how much of it was reality, this is happening, and how much of it was just in his head. But also, like around that scene happening, literally the theater was like going out. The lights came up, the screen went white, and you can hear sound, but you couldn't see anything. And there was stuff happening, and it was like, what's going on? People were getting mad, and then it just kind of went back on, the lights went back dim, and then it kept going and nobody said anything. That kind of added to the whole dynamic of what was going on in the movie. So it was like crazy. It was like perfect storm, because all this stuff was happening at the same time. But inside of the movie, in terms of like the film, it's like how much of it was real and how much of it was fake. Like, was this all just made up in Joker's mind? Anyway, hope that wasn't confusing. Just thought that was interesting to share as well. So this movie really makes you feel bad for the Joker and people like the Joker who have went through traumas in their life, some of which unfortunately do in real life become serial killers or some kind of resort to some kind of awful violent things because of stuff that they went through when they grew up. And that's really sad. And so I think this movie really challenges you to face with some harsh realities. A lot of reviewers, a lot of critics, a lot of magazines are coming out saying this, saying that. Warner Brothers has had to come out and defend themselves. Like, it's because a lot of people don't want to deal with the harsh realities that people go through bad stuff and then they want to grow up and they want to do stuff to hurt people. And that's not the case every time or all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that people don't want to talk about that. That's a conversation that needs to be had. That's a conversation that is truth. There's truth involved in it. And it doesn't excuse anything, but it just means that we need to be more aware of how these people, how these kids are being treated and what they're going through, and pay attention to that, because that's going to be the product of that is sometimes these horrific events that are in the Joker. Sometimes they do happen in real life. So that's why I think there's a lot of stuff that comes with the movie that people aren't comfortable with, but I'm completely comfortable with it, because for me personally, I work kind of in these different fields that are interconnected. And so for me, I completely see it. I see where the problems are in the system. I see what's going on in it. So to me, it completely makes sense. So hopefully it does you too, and maybe it'll encourage you to be active in the conversation about mental health, different things that are going on in our justice system, just in general about how kids are growing up in trauma environments, trauma-filled environments, and what's the product of that, and how some of this stuff was related. It's no coincidence that we look at the data, and the data says that people that grow up in these kinds of environments sometimes become the serial killers and all the people that go off and do all this stuff. So I think this movie really challenges you to just kind of treat everybody the same, and maybe we will have less Jokers in the world. I think Joker is a euphemism. Joker is a metaphor. Yes, he's a real comic book villain, but in real life we have people that are Jokers, people that are mistreated in society, people who go on to do horrible acts of violence because they never got the treatment they needed, they never got treated in a normal way, they were always an outcast in their communities. So we can all make small differences in all of our lives by just treating everybody with love and peace, and just treat everybody kindly, because why not? I encourage you to go see it. It's a must-see, maybe the best movie in 2019. We'll see. That's to be determined because it's not over yet. But definitely go see it. It's worth your money. It's worth your time. It is an amazing, fantastic movie. And let me know what you think. Drop a comment. Let me know what your thoughts on the movie are. Let me know if you thought Heath Ledger was better than Joaquin playing the Joker. Let's have a dialogue. Peace.